What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So today we're gonna talk about how Atlanta Falcons won day one of the 2025 NFL Draft, bringing in two pass rushers that they much needed. And I can say, like, I really believe that the Atlanta Falcons stole the day. Looking at this draft, getting the needs that they had, and getting two players, and I believe good value. So we're going to talk about that today. Guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you're not drop another video. Please hit the like button as I know you guys are here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come here and talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, like I said, the Atlanta Falcons definitely won day one of the NFL draft. And we're going to get into the two picks that they made. The Atlanta Falcons not only made a pick at 15, they was able to come back into the first round and get a pick at number 26, trading with the Los Angeles Rams and grabbing another player as well, fortifying what I think was a much needed um, thing for Atlanta Falcons for years. For years, I think if you look at the guys that they got, I we can honestly say that the Atlanta Falcons was intentional. You look at what they did last year when intent was to go get a quarterback, they doubled down on that. And guess what, guys? They doubled down again on bringing in two pieces that definitely I believe is going to be some major contributors for the Atlanta Falcons this season and seasons to come. So let's get into the first guy here, and that will be Mr. Jalen Walker. Um, Looking at Jalen Walker's stats, this guy played at the University of Georgia, of course. The first Georgia Bulldog the Atlanta Falcons have taken in the first round in history. So um, they finally, appeased the everybody out there, especially the big Georgia fans that wanted the Atlanta Falcons, that was rooting for them as well to pick a Georgia guy, and they got a guy that, to be honest, nobody really believed that he was going to be there at 15. If you look at most mock drafts had him going in the top 10. So for him to still be on the board at 15 was just was just really special for all of us. You guys watched the live last night when I was on with one time for the fans. You could see how we were just hoping that he didn't get picked before 15, and he fell right into our lap. Um, he was there, and the Atlanta Falcons just had to turn the card in. It was getting a little nervous because the clock was dwindling down. They still hadn't turned the card in yet, but lo and behold, the Atlanta Falcons did what we all thought they should be able to do and bring in Jalen Walker, a guy that really played so many different places for Kirby Smart in the Georgia football defense, where you kind of got to figure out where he's going to be, try to master his ability when they get to the NFL. We heard Jeff Albrecht talking about bringing him in, trying to have him master a certain position instead of moving him all over. Which you love the versatility, but you want to get good at one thing. And Jalen Walker, he rushed the passer. He played the linebacker. He dropped back and covered. So all the things that he's capable of, and he really played all those different positions in a very high level. Looking at this guy, and he only had that one start at Georgia, right? And we know that's the reason, because of the influx of talent that the University of Georgia brings in. So it's kind of hard to see yourself playing for 4 seasons where you can be playing behind another 5-star. But Jalen Walker, guy, 6'2", 245 pounds, had 12 sacks over the time in Georgia, 19 tackle for loss, one forced fumble, 89 tackles. This guy had the seven more sacks on the team, right? So he wasn't even number one on rushing the passer, but he led the team in quarterback pressures, um, which is really, really impressive. You know, this is where you start to think about the production. If he hone in on that, when I talked about earlier to that one skill, what his potential could be. The reason why, he's 7 on the team and pass rush because he was asked to do other things, right? Spy quarterbacks, right? Drop back in coverage, play that middle linebacker position. So all the things that, you know, not just rushing a passer on a consistent basis, but when he was, rushing a passer, he was the most effective on the team. So that's the versatility we're getting from Jalen Walker. If you heard from him last night, you said if you want me to go get the quarterback, that's what he's going to do. So guys, I think for most fans, nobody expected Jalen Walker to be on the board, but he was, and we all was ecstatic about it. And yes, I think the Atlanta Falcons got great value on Jalen Walker, especially where he was valued to go in the draft. Got Atlanta Falcons got him number 15, and the Falcons really had, no opportunity. Only opportunity was to go up and get Jalen Walker. So, um, yeah, guys, let me know what you think about Jalen Walker coming to the Atlanta Falcons. What role you going to see? Do you envision him playing that Michael Parsons role? Um, because is really really dynamic like that, or do you see him playing more of an inside linebacker? One good thing about Jalen Walker, he has a comp on the team already. A guy like Caden Ellis, his ability to actually rush the passer as well is really really good. So that's one thing we're going to be able to see how they utilize both of those guys, Caden Ellis and um, Jalen Walker, along with guys that we just brought in as well. You got Armor Ebikadi there. Just man, I can't imagine how this team gonna be. And I heard Jeff Albrecht, talking about trying to mixture of Vic Fangio's offense along with Robert Saleh. I mean Vic Fangio's defense along with Robert Saleh defense, kind of making it a blend of those two and trying to make something brand new. I can't wait to see how this thing turn out. But getting Jalen Walker and to master one position is going to be key. And then once he do that, you can start using all the versatility that he possesses to have him do other things as well. So let me know what you think about Jalen Walker. The Atlanta Falcons take him at number 15 overall. All right, next guy that we got on the board, like I said, the Atlanta Falcons actually traded back in the draft, back in the first round, and they selected James Pierce Jr. Now, the interesting thing about James Pierce, I believe, and it makes it seems like James Pierce actually was the Atlanta Falcons' first option at number 15, where a lot of us was thinking they was going to go maybe Mike Green, Donovan as a Ruku, right? Those guys, Shamar Stewart was still on the board, but a lot of us believed that James Pierce was going to be their pick if Jalen Walker, just hadn't fell in their lap, right? James Pierce, a lot of people talked about some of you know, the rumors about his attitude and things, not loving football and things like that. But the Atlanta Falcons did their due diligence. It was mentioned that he actually spoke with James and his mom the day before the draft. So um, they got a good feeling about this guy. And one thing that we did know was guy that had the most pressures, you know, in the NCAA throughout. So he's probably one of the most impressive pass rusher that we had. A guy that a lot of people were sleeping on, and I can be honest with myself. I didn't dig into a guy like James Pierce tape like I should have. Guy who ran 4.47 in the 40, so speed, just complete speed. 6'5", 243 pounds, 19 and a half sacks, 30 tackle for a loss, one interception, three forced fumble, and 71 tackles over his career in Tennessee. I mean, he had a breakout season last year where he had 10 sacks. He kind of went down this year to 7.5. That's why a lot of people maybe have seen him having a down year. I think if he would have came out last year, he was projected to go really high. So, you know, once they start doing their evaluations, looking at your character and things like that, guys start to slip do for some things that has nothing to do was on the tape and what you see on film. Yes, he's going to be a little bit light, but that speed and that length. You look at a guy like Leonard Floyd, who the Atlanta Falcons just picked up. You can see a good comp there because a guy who has that size, that length, may be able to so contribute really early. You know, over his time in Tennessee, he had 113 pressures in 3 seasons, which is really impressive. Um, but Atlanta Falcons, in essence, in my opinion, what they did was by coming back into the first round, they're basically saying that they're taking their first round pick for 2026 this year, doubling down on being able to get to a need that Atlanta Falcons have longed for years now, and that's to get after the quarterback. Um, I look at both of these moves by Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., adding those guys with Leonard Ford, Armor Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone, right? I can see, maybe putting all those guys, include Caden Ellis as well, putting all those guys on the field at the same time and like a blitz package and then get after the quarterback. And you don't know who's coming, who's dropping, these on passing downs and being able to wreak havoc and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. We know Caden Ellis, led the team in pressures last year. Um, Armor Ebiketie led the team in sacks. So you kind of get a mixture, and then you bring in a Jalen Walker and a James Pierce Jr. along with a Leonard Floyd, three guys that was not there yet last year to add to that team who actually showed flashes toward the end of the season. So um, I would honestly say that the Atlanta Falcons have fixed their pass rush issues, and now just got to put it all together. That's just simply put. But looking at these two picks, what the Atlanta Falcons was able to do, giving up the second round pick tonight, so they won't be able to pick in the second round, and they pick towards the end of the third round. So it's gonna be a long night for us just watching, the draft and Atlanta Falcons just sitting on the board. But it's going to be interesting to see who they'll be able to take tonight, and see who's going to be out there. I still think they need to address the secondary, maybe the offensive line, maybe a center position, depending on who's going to be on the board. Even maybe another defensive player to go along with these gazelles you got on the outside, and then you even make more stop moves in the middle. So because you want to be able to stop the run, so you can get to, you know, being third and long, so you can get after the quarterback. That's the whole key. If you can't stop the run, getting to third and long is not where you want to be. So, go back to a couple of years and we had teams always at third and three, third and four, third and two. You don't want to be in positions like that. You want to make teams be in third and eight and more. And now you can pin your ears back and get up. And with these guys that we got, I think it's going to be really, really exciting to see what they're able to do. But the Atlanta Falcons won, right? We had, the Giants came back in as well. You look at some of the other blue chip guys, that went as well. But Atlanta Falcons, first of all, fixing a need that they had for so long, but now getting the value with a guy like Jalen Walker, and then coming back into the first round, getting that guy that they probably had as their number one pass rusher, on the board at the time at 15, but Jalen Walker fell in their lap. So um, I think if you're thinking about what Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot is feeling today, is that they did everything that they wanted to do last night, and some that by getting Jalen Walker at 15 was a pleasant surprise. So I like both of these moves. I believe that the Atlanta Falcons won day one of the draft. It's not over yet. The Atlanta Falcons still got 3 picks, but right now I give the Atlanta Falcons an A, and definitely would want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think about both of these moves that Atlanta Falcons made today. I mean yesterday. First day of the draft. What is your grade? Um, are you upset that they didn't take somebody else? Because a lot of people had their favorite guys, but I honestly believe that the Atlanta Falcons was going to get somebody good at 15. I just didn't expect it to be Jalen Walker. And, I can admit I kind of slept on um, what they might have thought about James Pierce Jr. And you see a guy like Mike Green who's still on the board. So, basically off the checks, what they got from that, they was not satisfied and they did not want to bring him in to the locker room. So, guys, let me know what you think about both guys, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. And how can you see this Atlanta Falcons even getting more um, pieces tonight to make this team better? Um, I'm excited. I know you guys are excited, and I think in a long time, we can start back feeling like just maybe, if we can fix this defense, kind of get an identity or what direction these guys are going to go in. It's going to be really, really exciting for Atlanta Falcons in 2025. So there you have it. Let your boy know what you think about these picks. In my opinion, the Atlanta Falcons won the draft. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.